Welcome to Co-Pilot Podcasts. You know that moment when your toddler's having a meltdown in the grocery store and you feel like every parenting book you've ever read just vanishes from your mind? Today, we're diving into evidence-based parenting strategies that actually work in real life. We'll explore the science behind effective discipline, practical tips for setting boundaries, and how to raise confident, resilient kids in today's digital age.
And what's fascinating is that research consistently shows it's not about being perfect, it's about being present and intentional in our approach.
Let's start with something that might surprise our listeners. Recent studies have found that the most effective parenting style isn't the strict disciplinarian approach many of us grew up with, right?
Exactly. According to extensive research, authoritative parenting, which balances warmth with clear boundaries, consistently produces the best outcomes for children. These kids show higher self-esteem, better academic performance, and stronger emotional resilience.
Wait, can you break down what authoritative parenting actually looks like in practice?
Think of it as being both responsive and demanding, but in a positive way. You set clear expectations while still being emotionally available. You explain the reasons behind rules rather than just saying because I said so.
That makes sense, but I imagine some parents might worry that being too warm or responsive could lead to spoiled kids.
Actually, that's a common misconception. Research shows that children raised with authoritative parenting are less likely to engage in problematic behaviors compared to those raised with stricter or more permissive approaches.
Interesting. And how does this relate to discipline? Because that's often where parents struggle the most.
Well, studies indicate that positive discipline techniques are far more effective than punitive approaches. This means focusing on teaching and problem solving rather than punishment.
Can you give us some specific examples?
Sure. One effective technique is setting clear expectations before activities. For instance, before going to the park, you might say, "We're going to have fun at the swings, but remember, gentle hands and kind words."
That's so practical. And it's proactive rather than reactive.
Exactly. Another key aspect is consistency. The research shows that children thrive when rules and consequences are predictable.
You know, this reminds me of how leadership works in other contexts. Clear expectations, consistent follow-through.
That's a fascinating parallel. And just like in leadership, the goal isn't to control, but to guide and empower.
Let's talk about one of the biggest challenges parents face today, screen time. The research on this seems pretty concerning.
Yes, a recent meta-analysis of 117 studies covering over 292,000 children found that increased screen time can lead to emotional and behavioral problems.
That's alarming, but it's also practically unavoidable in today's world, right?
True, but the key is managing it thoughtfully. Research shows that it's not just about quantity, but quality and context of screen use.
What are some practical strategies parents can use?
Setting clear boundaries around screen time, choosing educational content, and most importantly, being involved in your child's media consumption.
So it's about making screen time more intentional?
Exactly. And using it as an opportunity for connection rather than just distraction.
Let's circle back to discipline for a moment. What about tantrums? They're such a common challenge.
Research shows that tantrums often occur during transitions or when children are hungry, tired, or overwhelmed. Prevention is key, giving warnings before transitions and maintaining regular routines.
And when prevention doesn't work?
Stay calm and consistent. Studies indicate that children learn emotional regulation by watching how we handle our own emotions during these challenging moments.
That's really powerful. We're essentially modeling the behavior we want to see.
Absolutely. And research shows that children who see this modeling develop better emotional regulation skills themselves.
You mentioned routines earlier. How important are they really?
Studies consistently show that predictable routines help children feel secure and reduce behavior problems. They're particularly crucial for sleep and meal times.
Speaking of sleep, that's another huge challenge for many parents.
Yes, and screen time often plays a role here. Research shows that exposure to screens before bedtime can significantly disrupt sleep patterns.
What's the recommended approach?
Creating a consistent bedtime routine without screens, ideally ending screen time at least an hour before bed.
Let's talk about positive reinforcement. How effective is it really?
Research consistently shows that catching kids being good and offering specific praise is more effective than focusing on misbehavior.
Can you give an example?
Instead of just saying, "good job," you might say, "I noticed how nicely you shared your toys with your friend. That was really kind of you."
That's so specific and meaningful.
Yes, and it helps children understand exactly what behaviors we want to see more of.
What about when siblings are involved? That adds another layer of complexity.
Research shows that treating each child as an individual while maintaining consistent family rules is key. Avoid comparisons between siblings.
And what about parents' self-care in all of this?
That's crucial. Studies show that parental stress directly impacts children's behavior and emotional well-being.
So taking care of ourselves isn't selfish, it's actually essential for good parenting?
Exactly. It's like the airplane oxygen mask principle. You need to take care of yourself to effectively care for others.
Let's talk about resilience. How can parents help build that?
Research indicates that allowing children to experience appropriate challenges while providing emotional support helps build resilience.
So it's not about protecting them from every difficulty.
No, it's about helping them develop the skills to handle challenges themselves.
What about communication? Any specific strategies there?
Active listening is key. Studies show that children who feel heard are more likely to develop strong emotional intelligence and communication skills.
And that probably helps with discipline too, right?
Absolutely. When children feel understood, they're more likely to cooperate and less likely to act out.
This has been incredibly helpful. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Remember that perfect parenting doesn't exist. The research shows that being consistent, warm, and present is what matters most.
And it's never too late to adjust your approach?
Exactly. Children are remarkably adaptable, and small positive changes in parenting can lead to significant improvements in behavior and well-being.
That's really encouraging for parents who might be struggling.
Yes, and remember, every family is unique. Take these evidence-based strategies and adapt them to what works for your situation.
Well, there you have it, folks. Whether you're dealing with tantrums, screen time struggles, or just looking to be a more effective parent, remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being present and intentional.
And just like that grocery store meltdown we mentioned at the start, with the right tools and approach, even the most challenging moments become opportunities for growth and connection.
Thanks for joining us on Co-Pilot Podcasts. Remember, you've got this, and now you've got the science to back it up.